Now, we've been talking about Karmayoga and we spoke about the first step of Karmayoga. And we also talked briefly about the second step. Here it is important to note that Gita is not asking you to give up your family life, your professional life, give up all actions, all pursuits of the world, and be devoted to knowledge of the Supreme Reality. No. Is that what Gita is saying? Not at all. It is not asking you to leave any action. It is only saying change your approach towards it. Change your attitude towards it. Right now, our approach is such that we think we can be fulfilled by these actions. That is why we are so deeply attached to them. But if we realize that these things cannot really give us that permanent freedom and fulfillment that we really want, then we reduce our attachment and do only as much as necessary according to our duties. So we don't have to give up any pursuit of the world, we only have to change our approach towards it and give up our attachment. Attachment is to be given up. The problem is attachment, not the action itself. Arjuna was saying, I want to give up this battle. Krishna is trying to make him understand that giving up the battle is not the solution. It will not make you a happier man or a more spiritual man. Performing the battle with the right approach, for the right reasons, with the right intent, that is what is required. You see, this is why in the Vedic tradition, there is no division between material pursuits and spiritual pursuits. Okay, it's not like that earning money is a material pursuit and reading the Gita is a spiritual pursuit. No. This kind of demarcation or distinction is not in the Vedic vision of things. All pursuits can be material pursuits if the approach is about fulfilling your own selfish desires. If you're sitting and reading the Gita thinking that if I read the Gita, I will get a lot of punya for myself and I will get swarga or I will get a better next life, then where is your focus? Your focus is on this tiny individual and fulfilling its desires. It is just like pursuing wealth or success or power, anything. So even a so-called good act can be a material pursuit. But if the approach is pure, if the approach is selfless, as they say, then all pursuits can be spiritual pursuits. Even earning money or making a family or building a company, all of it is a spiritual activity. if the approach of Karmayoga is adopted. Because all of it can help you grow internally. All of it can bring about a positive difference in society. So all of it can be a spiritual activity. So Gita or Vedanta is not shunning away money, power, success, career, any of this. No. All of it has value. Money has value, power has value, success has value, career has value. Everything has value. We have to understand their value. What we do is we overvalue them. We think that this is all that there is. That is overvaluing it. We don't need to do that. At the same time, we don't need to undervalue it also. That, oh, what to do with money, what to do with career, all of this is materialistic. Just read the Gita. That is undervaluing money and undervaluing all the various things that are very necessary and important in life. So in the Vedic vision, nothing is either overvalued or undervalued. Their proper value is shown to you. And use it for that proper value to fulfill your duties, and that is it. In fact, the most spiritually evolved people of those times, the rishis, were family people. They were family men. Rajas, kings, were Gyanis, like Raja Janak, who had money, who had power, who had everything at his command. So can we say power corrupts? Or can we say power is corrupted? Or power is bad or materialistic? Or money is bad and materialistic? No. It is how you use it. What is your approach towards it? Right? So please understand these fine details very clearly. Otherwise, you will be living in a greater delusion. Right now, you may be living in some kind of delusion, and if you misunderstand what is being said, you may be living in a greater delusion. So understand what is being said very, very clearly. I will summarize once again. Everybody is searching for moksha, that is liberation, from the sense of inadequacy, incompleteness, and limitation. We search for it in the various pursuits of the world. The reality is that self is not inadequate, not incomplete or limited. Self is limitless. In fact, there is only self, nothing else is there. So self is complete in itself. Therefore, the solution is to know the self, Atma Gyan, self-knowledge. Attaining this knowledge is the purpose of our lives. If the above is understood, then one naturally becomes detached from the various pursuits of the world, because one no longer looks for one's fulfillment in them. When one is detached, one performs actions only to fulfill one's duties, that is dharma. It is a role-oriented life which brings about inner purification, antahkaran shuddhi, and prepares the mind for the self-knowledge. I hope these points are clear to all of us now. This is the bare, structure of Karmayoga. And we have to understand it very, very clearly. We don't have to rush to the next verses. We have to first understand this starting point very clearly. Alright? Because in the next few verses, Krishna is going to reinforce this only. Okay? He is going to talk about these points only in the next 4 or 5 verses. Krishna will be saying that people who don't understand these facts about life, they keep running after various pursuits of the world, thinking they will get what they want through these pursuits. But they are mistaken. Let's read the next verse. Ya imam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipaschitah vedvad ratah partha na anyad asti tivadinah. They are undiscerning who always talk of the alluring words of the Veda, who remain engrossed in the Vedic injunctions and declare that nothing else exists. Okay, suddenly you may be thinking, where this Veda came from. So the thing is, Krishna is talking about actions in the language and context of his time. In the ancient times, most people followed the Vedic dharma. The Vedic injunctions were the source of how to live your life. The Veda informed us of our duties according to our place in society, and one followed those duties. So people lived according to the injunctions of the Veda, and it was a duty-oriented or role-oriented life structured in that way. People were to perform their roles and duties as given in the Veda without being attached to the objects of the world. This would bring about the necessary inner purification and make their mind ready for self-knowledge. This was the Vedic ideal for life and society. But a lot of people did not understand this ideal fully or found it hard to follow. They got stuck with the outer surface meaning of Vedic injunctions. And so they followed the Vedic injunctions only to attain some material gains like wealth, success, power, progeny, etc. Because on the surface, Veda talks about achieving wealth, success, etc. Krishna is censuring such misguided behavior in this verse, and he's saying that those who get carried away by the outer surface of the Vedic injunctions, which seem to be promising many fancy accomplishments, they are living in delusion. They do not understand the true purpose of those injunctions and of actions in general. Actions are to be performed according to one's duties and only as a means of inner growth, inner purification, not for fulfilling personal desires. If you keep performing actions for fulfilling personal desires, then you're going to keep suffering and keep going in the cycle of birth and death. That is not what Veda wants. You will never find liberation in this way. So, Krishna is censuring this approach. You see, the same action can be done with different approaches. You can do business to earn money also. You can do business to serve society also. Similarly, the same Vedic injunction can be done with different approach. Those who do them for personal gain will not really gain anything out of it. But those who do them only as a duty, they will ultimately gain moksha. Also note here that Krishna is speaking in terms of Vedic injunctions only because that was relevant in his time, but in context of our time, it can be taken to represent all actions. In today's time, we hardly follow any Vedic injunctions. So, we don't even know about Vedic injunctions. We don't know what duties are set by the Veda for me or for you. But we do know about our basic duties, our basic roles and responsibilities towards our family, towards our community, and towards society at large. These basic roles we know. So we are to act only to fulfill these duties. Alright. Another important thing that you must understand here is that when Krishna is talking about the Veda over here, and in the next 3-4 verses, he is talking about the Karma Kand section of the Veda. As I have told you before, Veda has 4 parts. Okay, that's how we see the Veda, as consisting of 4 parts: Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. The first 3 parts collectively are called the Karma Kanda. Last part, Upanishad, is called the Jnana Kanda or the Vedanta, where the knowledge of the absolute reality is given. It does not talk about any ritual or any injunctions as such. Its focus is on giving you that knowledge which will liberate you. Before this, before the Jnana Kanda comes the Karma Kanda. This Karma Kanda is where all the injunctions, all the rites and rituals are talked about, which are to be followed by different members of society in order to grow internally, in order for inner purification. Okay, so that was the structure of the Veda, and that was how it was ideally supposed to be followed. Krishna continues, Kamatmanah Svargapara Janma Karma Fal Pradam Kriya Vishesh Bahulam bhogaishwarya gatim prati. Consumed by selfish desires, considering Svarga or heaven as the highest, they remain entangled in the many rites and rituals for karma phala required for such becomings and for attainment of enjoyment and greatness. So Krishna is saying that Kam Atmanah, the people who are consumed by selfish desires, who are doing these actions only for fulfillment of their personal desires, they think that Svarga or heaven is the highest achievement in life. Svargapara. Okay, so he's talking in context of his time. Because people were following the Vedic injunctions, so Veda promises you heaven also. If you follow the Vedic injunctions and you're fulfilling your Vedic duties, then you will be earning punya. Okay, that is the natural consequence of performing your Vedic duty. So with a great amount of punya, you have the possibility of experiencing some amount of well-being after the death of this physical body. The Sukshma Sharira can experience some amount of well-being, which is the Svarga. Okay, so here he says that such people, they are totally consumed in the Janma Karma Phala Pradam. Okay, so they are consumed in collecting this Karma Phala. Okay, I want more punya, I want more punya, I want more punya. Okay, I want to fill up my bank account of punya. We see that even today. People who think that Svarga is the goal of life, or I want a better next life, a happier next life. In the next life, may I be born as a son to a king. So these kinds of aims people have. So Krishna is censuring these people that this is not what you should be aiming for. This is nothing. Okay. So what they don't realize is that no matter how good Svarga is, and no matter how long one stays there, it is still a limited experience. It will come to an end. It is just like a holiday. And then one will have to come back to the world and do the same things again. Even in Svarga, there are ranks. So then there also you have competition. So attempting for Svarga is not the solution to our problems, nor is attaining Svarga moksha. Okay? Some people equate attaining Svarga or any other nice loka with attaining moksha. No, none of the lokas can give you moksha. All of it is limited. Krishna says that such people remain entangled in the performance of numerous rites and rituals without understanding their real purpose. They keep doing them for attainment of personal gains, but they don't really gain anything. So, but please note here that Krishna is censuring the attitude towards the rituals, not the rituals themselves. The rituals are fine. It is the approach that is problematic. Okay. And if we apply it in the context of our times, so we may say that becoming, the president of a country, or, becoming the Ambani, or becoming the Bill Gates is the highest achievement, or becoming Ratan Tata is becoming the highest achievement that one can dream of. And so they may spend their whole life trying to become that. And if they work hard enough, they will probably become it also. But will it really help? Will it really solve any problems? It will not. You become that and you will realize you want something more. Everything that can be achieved in this universe is limited. Okay, so everything. You become the biggest man in this world and you are still limited. And so from the limited, you cannot hope to achieve the limitless. From the impermanent, you cannot hope to achieve the permanent. This will be said again and again by Krishna in different ways. Okay, so this is what Krishna is saying, and he continues. He says, Bhogashwarya prasaktanam taya aphrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadhav na vidhiyate. Those who have lost their clear thinking and are deeply attached to enjoyment and greatness, in minds of such people, the resolute intellect does not arise. The Vyavasayatmika Buddhi does not arise. Those people whose minds are consumed by the lures of the world, they can never hope to have that focused, resolute Buddhi. Here note the word samadhi in the second line. Samadhavna vidyate. So the word samadhi is to be understood here. It is used in a very specific way over here. It is used to mean the mind. Okay, if you read Shankara's commentary, he says it very clearly. It is used to mean the mind. The word samadhi has the sense of absorption. Samajana, as we say in Hindi. So mind is the place where all pleasurable experiences, are there. They are gathered together. They are absorbed for the enjoyment of the individual. And that is why it is called samadhi in this verse. So in the mind of a person who is consumed by desires, the resolute intellect, the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, which is the very first step of Karmayoga, does not arise, because he keeps himself entangled in all these things so much that he doesn't even realize what he is looking for and where he is going wrong. Okay? Next comes a very interesting verse. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigунयो Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvastho Niryog Kshema Atmavan. The Veda is pertaining to the three gunas. Be free from the three gunas, Arjuna. Be free from dualities, always established in Sattva Guna, free from desires of achieving and protecting, and be self-aware. So Krishna kind of concludes what he has been saying, and he builds upon it also. And he's saying, Traigunya Vishaya Veda. He's saying that people follow Vedic injunctions only for the attainment of objects and experiences of the world, which are all composed of the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. Everything in the world is composed of these gunas. Remember I told you? And everything composed of these gunas is mithya. So what Krishna is essentially saying is that those who are running after these things are running after the mithya. And you don't have to do that, Arjuna. Your goal should be to find the truth, the satyam. Nistraya gunya bhava, Arjuna. Be free from the three gunas. Actually, what he is saying is that you are already free from the three gunas, the true self, which is already free from the three gunas, which is pure consciousness. Realize that, know that. How you have nothing to do with the objects and experiences composed of the three gunas. You are the very truth of all of it. Know this. Walk the path to that truth, which lies beyond the three gunas. That is kind of what he is trying to say. Then he says, Nirdvandva bhav. Dvandva. Dvandva means duality. Like success, failure, profit, loss, happiness, sorrow. These are the pairs, the dualities. People who are attached to the objects of the world, who are running after, all the various objects of the world for their fulfillment, such people are deeply, deeply affected by these dualities. Why? Because their focus is on their tiny individuality. They want success for this tiny individual. They want profit for this tiny individual. That is what they always want. So these dualities matter a lot for such people. You see, people are so particular about their image. What are they gaining? Right? So, but if you walk the path of Karmayoga, then these dualities don't bother you. Then you are not aiming for success or gain or profit. You are only trying to fulfill your duty to the best of your ability. You may lose something or you may gain something. These are secondary. Okay? So a karma yogi is nirdvandva. He is not entangled in the dualities. Then he says, nitya sattvastha. When we follow karma yoga, we reduce personal desires. We try every day to overcome the sense of limited individuality, and this leads to a reduction of rajas and tamas, the two gunas which are about personal desires. And it helps increase the sattva guna. Sattva is for purity, brightness, knowledge. So Krishna is saying that always be established in a pure mind, a mind free from the hold of personal desires. sattvastha. Try to increase the sattva, reduce the rajas and tamas. That is what he is trying to say. Because such a mind does not see the individual as completely separate from the world around. It tries to see the oneness with all beings. It tries to imbibe oneness with the world around. That is the kind of growth necessary to know how I am limitless. I am everything. That is the kind of growth necessary. Then he says, Niryog Kshema. Very interesting. Yoga is used in the sense of the effort made to achieve what I don't have. Apraptasya prapti. Okay, remember this term? Apraptasya prapti. Trying to achieve what you don't have. So that is the sense of the word yoga in this place. And kshema. Kshema means the effort to protect what you already have. Now, if you think about it, your whole life goes in these two efforts. Trying to get what you don't have and trying to protect what you already have. Right? Someone does not have enough money, so he tries to get more money. When he has the money, then he is insecure of losing it. So he makes all the efforts to protect it. He puts it in this bank and that bank and puts it in bonds and tries to evade taxes and puts it under his bed and God knows what else. So yoga and kshema. Someone does not have a life partner, so he tries to achieve a life partner. And when he has one, then he is insecure and his whole effort goes in making sure the partner does not leave him. Now just imagine how much suffering is involved in such a life. You are suffering when you don't have it, you are suffering when you have it. You are suffering through and through. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't be such a person. You are only going to lose. Don't be consumed by such desires and such attachments. None of these objects can give you what you want. Your goal lies beyond all of this. Finally, he says, Atmavana Bhava. What he means is, see, the literal translation said self-aware or something, but that doesn't really bring out what it says. What he means is that do not think of yourself as this limited individual, and do not be motivated to act only to fulfill the needs and desires of this individual. Be aware of the greater reality. Be aware of your oneness with the world around you and fulfill your duties so that you become capable of knowing that all-encompassing true self. Okay? So, Atmavan Bhava. So this is how Krishna is trying to slowly guide Arjuna on the path of Karmayoga. Alright, we will see the next verses in the next video.